Om Shanti. Today in the Murli, Baba is telling us that we have to give everyone the message of Man Mana Bhav, that is, remember Baba. And Baba says, you also have to be in my constant remembrance and be cooperative with me. So let me read out what Baba says today. Baba says, you children know that the Father is now making you into Sato Pradhan, golden aged residents of heaven, who are the most elevated. This is very, very easy. You don't need to take drugs or do anything for this. Simply stay in remembrance. So first I want to ask you that Baba says that you staying in remembrance of Baba is going to change you into a deity and the world into heaven. Do you really understand the power of remembrance? How many of you understand the power of remembrance? Do you? Do you realize that remembrance is such a big thing? You see, you can just have this little experiment to understand this. Remember somebody you are attached to, yes? And in 1 second, you can experience that if they are in pain, you start feeling their pain. If they are happy, you start experiencing their happiness. Yes? Do you? In 1 second, that energy transfer starts happening. And then, if you remember somebody you don't like, then in 1 second, you get upset by remembering them. And when you remember somebody bitterly, then also it starts changing how you feel inside, how you talk, how you behave. It starts reflecting in your behavior also. So remembrance is such a powerful force. And then Baba says, remember me. And through this remembrance, you will shift into a deity and the world will become heaven. And in bhakti also, people called out to God, yes? So people prayed. So there is this word prayer that we use in bhakti. And then through prayer, we never became empowered. We only became disempowered gradually. And the world became Kalyug, and the souls became Tamo Pradhan. So what is the difference between power and prayer and remembrance? We need to first understand that. So when you are praying, you think of yourself as a less than entity. Yes, a victim, a powerless person, and then God as the Almighty. And you sit in front of God and beg. Beg Him to solve problems, to take care of circumstances, yes, resolve issues. That's prayer. But prayer is not the same thing as remembrance. What is remembrance? Remembrance can only happen after you know yourself and know Baba. So you cannot remember somebody you don't know. Yes? So I tell you, remember Peter, and you don't know any Mr. Peter, you can't remember him. Yes? So you have to know somebody to remember him. And Baba says, when you remember me as I am, and remember me seated in the identity of who you really are. So this is why for remembrance, the first step is you sit in soul consciousness. I'm a peaceful, loveful, powerful soul, and I'm the child of Baba. And then who is Baba? Baba is the ocean of love, ocean of peace, the Almighty. And everything He has belongs to me. Everything who He is, I am an image of that. And when you sit in this remembrance, then you start drawing into yourself the energy that He is. So you start becoming like Him because you can draw into yourself all His energy, all His peace, all His love, because you are sitting in that connection where you are an equal, you are a child of Baba. And Baba says it is this remembrance that changes, that starts shifting your quality. And when your quality changes, the quality of the soul changes, then the quality of thought, word, and action also starts changing. And through our thoughts, words, and actions, we create the sanskar and the sansar. So the world also changes when you are in remembrance. Now, there was this one person, and he told me that what is more important, remembrance or karma? Yes, and then he told me that if I remember God all day and then I'm a butcher and I slay animals, then will it be okay? So I said, first you need to understand what remembrance is. Because when you remember Baba, you cannot slay anyone. Yes, so remembrance colors you. And you, the soul, are the doer of the karma. So when you are colored in Baba's company, then you become like Baba. Then you cannot do ordinary actions. You cannot do, vikarma through your body if you have really been colored in Baba's company. So you need to understand that remembrance and the effect of remembrance will naturally reflect in your actions. And if it doesn't, it means that you're not remembering Baba, you're just remembering some idea of God that you have. Okay? So remembrance means sitting in communion with your Father, who is the ocean of love, peace, and happiness, purity, and power. So Baba says true remembrance is what you need to change your sanskars and change the sansar. Now Baba says that this is why it is called easy remembrance, because remembrance makes everything easy. It is by having remembrance that you become charitable souls from sinful souls. Now, who is a charitable soul? Someone who does punya karma through his thought, word, and action. And who is a sinful soul? A soul who creates vikarma through thought, word, and action. Yes? And let me tell you one thing. So, there's this lady and she shared that um, the person working for her was sharing that somebody in their family is going through a heart problem. So then she said that, Didi, I wanted to feel that I wanted to feel that I'm really interested in their well-being, and I wanted to give them some vibration, but I couldn't because I didn't feel connected with that person. So I felt, what do I have to do if they are suffering? So you see that this sense of belonging, yes, this sense of belonging is very necessary for energy flow. So whenever you want to, this, we talk about changing our world through our vibrations. But the thing is, are we connected to the whole world? Are you that unlimited in your attitude that you're connected to the whole world? Because we have been blocking our energy for 63 births. So India had this culture of Vasudev Kutumbakam, yes, the world is one family. But then now, slowly, gradually, even the family is not family anymore. Yes, even when you're blood related, you say that this is my cousin and this is my own brother and this is this and that. So earlier you remember that 30 years back also we spoke this language, he's a brother. Nobody said this is a cousin brother. Brother was a brother and sister was a sister. But now it's a cousin brother and own brother and this and that. And all these things have come up. Now Baba says that in this kind of a state of awareness, can you become a charitable soul? Can you become a punyatma? So Baba says, when you remember Baba, so there are many, what do you say, there are many subsets, of benefits of remembering Baba. So when you remember Baba, you also come to the awareness that you are one world family. Because every soul is Baba's child. And this expands your heart. And Baba says, an expanded heart is capable of empathy, compassion. And then whatever you do, you start becoming more generous in that. You start becoming a charitable soul. Earlier, you were a sinful soul because, we thought, we blocked our energy, whenever we felt this person is outside the 4 members of my family, no energy exchange. And then one person's loss is another person's gain. We always believed in that. So mostly there was a lot of vikarma also being made all day. Because we saw another person's loss as my gain. And how many times in the day do you do that? Most often. But as we start remembering Baba and we start feeling this deep belonging with Baba, then we start feeling this belonging with all souls also. And then our heart expands and our thoughts become unlimited, generous. Our feelings become generous. Our words become generous. And then this care and sense of belonging that you extend in the form of vibration, in the form of words and actions, these enable you to earn good karma. Do you understand that? And in order to do good karma, the first thing is a big heart. Yes. And there was this brother, and he came and he was very upset when he came to the center. And I didn't know anything about him, so he had come first time. And he started. So usually when somebody comes to the center, we ask them who they are, where they've come from, and other things. But then he was so upset, I didn't find the opportunity to ask him. So he started just sharing right away whatever he was going through. And then I started listening to him, and I listened to him for an hour, and then I talked to him, and then after one hour or so, he told me, sister, you know nothing about me, but I feel like I belong to this place since many years. And I don't know if somebody would talk to me like this without knowing anything about me. So I said, I know enough about you to talk to you in a loving way. And so he said, what do you know about me? So I said, I know that we are children of the same parent and you're my brother, and that's enough. So I said, well, if that is so, I really felt like your brother today. And then he gave me the introduction of the body and everything. But then, you see, the connection happens and the energy flow happens when you know the spiritual truth of who everyone is and what everything is. So Baba says, you must also know that you are the master creator. God is called the creator. God is called the sustainer. So who are you? You are the master creator. And you have, so do you feel you have a sense of responsibility towards everyone and everything around you? Yes, you are responsible for the well-being of everyone and everything around you. Even the 5 elements of matter should feel cared and supported in your presence. So, the animals, the plants, everyone should feel cared and supported in your presence. But you should care and support them not by your doing, but by your being. Yes, and your doing should be a natural consequence of your being, not the other way around. So if you try to do without being, then you have to do too much. And if you just stay in that mode where you are the child of the creator and sustainer, then you can just nourish everyone and everything by your being. And that's the seva that's required, because our thought, time, energy, money, these days is for spiritual seva, right? So we have to create the whole infrastructure where we have to give souls the introduction of who they are and who they belong to. And there are various methods like classes and bhog and this and that and the center, and we consciously do that activity. But Baba says, you have to feel responsible for the whole universe. And how do you do that? Not by taking the responsibility of every element of the universe, but by taking responsibility of your state of being. So that's the way you take the responsibility of the whole universe. So you cannot say that I am responsible for everyone's financial health and physical health and emotional health, and then even one person is like this big well of, insufficiency that you keep pouring your whole life into it, it doesn't get filled. So Baba says you don't have to feel responsible for every element of nature, every individual soul. You have to do that job by being who you are, taking responsibility of your state of being. And then consciously we have to participate in what Baba says directly. Okay? So Baba says that you become a charitable soul from sinful soul by having remembrance. And Baba says it is definite that everyone is to receive liberation. And through whom? So we have to be so liberated, we have to be so soul conscious that everyone around us plugs into that energy. So everyone around us is able to take that energy of peace from us and purity from us and come to that state of liberation. So Baba says, I am the bestower of salvation for all. Therefore, the bodies of human beings will definitely be destroyed. I will purify souls and take them back home. Preparations have to be made to return home. And what is the preparation? The preparation is you come back to your original state of peace and purity. So the whole world, every soul has to shed the body and go home. And for that, preparations have to be made to recalibrate every soul in the frequency of peace and purity so that they get ready to go home. Because the frequency of the home is peace and purity. And how do you do that? By creating that atmosphere. Now you know that there is something called, what do you say? I don't know, meeking the elephant. So they use this technique called meeking the elephant. So if there is a wild elephant, what they do is they put him in a bunch of, they make him a part of a bunch of sober elephants. And then this wild elephant also loses his wilderness, and then he also gets tamed in the company of these tame elephants. So Baba says what you have to do is, through this collective vibration, you have to tame every soul. So make them come back to their peace and purity through the vibration, through the atmosphere that you create. And all this will happen if you remember Baba. And Baba says that the Father is inspiring you to make preparations because the wings of souls are broken. That is, souls have become tamo pradhan. And Baba says, now I give you 2 wings. So you need a pair of wings to fly. So the pair of wings are Gyan and Yog. So Baba says, you will fly again through knowledge and remembrance. These are the 2 wings that Baba gives you so that you can fly back home. You are making effort with the power of yoga to become pure. Those who don't do this will have to give their full accounts. And those who don't become pure through Gyan and Yoga, what will they have to do? They will take the punishment. And the punishment is more like purging. So, you know, the soul has to be stripped of its body consciousness. And that will happen through many methods before you return to that world where there is no body consciousness. So Baba says that will be done by force if you don't do it by choice. Yes? Can you become soul conscious by force? Can you become soul conscious by force? At the end, you will become that if you don't do it by choice. And how does that become? Let me give you a very simple example. So, when I was in school, I had this one friend, and one day I was eating cashews. And I offered it to her. And she said, I don't eat cashews. So I said, why don't you eat cashews? They are so tasty. Everybody likes cashews. You don't like cashews, it is weird. So she said, I will tell you a secret. Once I was in love with cashews, and then once I took a handful of cashews and just put it in my mouth, and they were rotten. So I didn't know as a child how to check whether it's fresh or rotten. So they gave such a bad taste in my mouth that I can't forget that taste. And whenever I see cashews, I'm reminded of that taste and I hate them. So in 1 second, you can become hateful of something you loved earlier. Yes, and I have seen souls who were very attached to someone or something, and then suddenly one incident happens of betrayal or something, and then they become totally detached, and the opposite force starts working. So Baba says, at the end, what will happen? There will be some scenes in the drama which will take place in the subtle region. So, do you experience things when you are sleeping and you are dreaming? So, dream also gives you an experience. So, you feel thirsty in a dream, you feel many things in dream. And when you are in the subtle region, it's like a dream. So, physically, nothing is happening, but you're getting all the experiences. And then in that subtle region, you will get the experiences which will detach you from the people, places, and things that you were so attached to. And you will come to the awareness that I am a soul and mine is only one Baba. So Baba says, but even if that is done, you will not get the benefit of that. You will become soul conscious at the end because you have to go home. But because that you didn't become by your own effort, you will not come in Satyug. So you will lose your post. And if you make effort to do it, you have created the Satyugi sanskar while doing it. So when you are trying to shift from body conscious to soul conscious, you are not just becoming soul conscious, you are creating divine sanskars also when you are making effort on Baba's directions. But in the end, when this purging happens, you only become soul conscious, you don't create divine sanskars. Yes, so that is why you cannot come in the divine world because you have not created those sanskars. So you have not become consciously loveful or helpful or happy or generous or big-hearted, or you have not practiced giving love through your drishti or your words. So Baba says you cannot be a part of the deity world. So Baba says if you don't do it by choice, one thing is you will receive punishment, and the second thing is you don't even get the position after the punishment. So Baba says better make effort now. And then Baba says today that there is nothing to think about in this because this is a win-win. Yes, you become a deity and you also don't get punishment. So start making the practice of remembrance, which will enable you to become charitable souls. And then Baba says the children's duty is to claim the full inheritance from the Father. So Father is the ocean of knowledge, ocean of purity, ocean of love. So we have to be so much in remembrance that we take the full inheritance from Baba. This is the first effort that we have to make. And the second thing is to become his helpers and cooperate with him. So first thing is take your inheritance through remembrance And second thing is, you become Baba's helpers and cooperate with him. Baba has come to carry out this task of creating heaven on earth. And this task he cannot do on his own, or I don't know whether he can or not, but he chooses not to do it on his own. And he says that you children have to carry out this task with your time, energy, and money. And Baba says you have to cooperate with Baba in this task. And each one has to ask yourself whether you are cooperative in Baba's task. And why does Baba choose not to do it on his own and seek help from us? Because you see, there is a law of happiness. And Satyug is a world of happiness. And happiness is never experienced through receiving. Happiness is always experienced through sharing. And Baba says, this is why I create this platform for you, where you can share your time, wealth, and energy in creating good karma. So, there are many people who share their time, wealth, and energy, but they share it with sinful souls. Yes? They share it with souls who are not on the path of upliftment, but on the path of destruction. And when you do that, you're creating a negative karmic account. But when you share your time, wealth, and energy with souls who are on the path of upliftment, when you do this Baba's task of doing spiritual seva, which makes a soul self-aware and makes a soul make the choices to become pure and uplift themselves in the world, Baba says this is how you create happiness through sharing. Otherwise, if you share with sinful souls, you create karmic account through sharing also. So Baba says, this is why I've created this yajna. I have created these centers and these places of seva so that you can cooperate in Baba's task. And Baba says, there has to be the father's cooperation and also the children's cooperation. So Baba cooperates us and makes us realize that we need to cooperate in Baba's task. And when we choose to do that, then by giving we receive happiness. Okay? If you just keep taking from Baba, you will be happy for some time. But because you have not learned the art of doing good karma, you will not be happy for very long. Okay? So Baba says, simply look at the Father and follow him in how to give cooperation. And Baba says, you want to learn how to cooperate in Baba's task? Look at the life of Brahma Baba. Brahma Baba gave away his everything. And not only gave away, it's not like he gave it to somebody. He used everything on Shiv Baba's direction and created the whole infrastructure through which so many souls can learn the knowledge and the art of remembering Baba. So Baba says, this is how you learn how to cooperate. Continue to give everyone my mantra in order to become the most elevated beings. And every soul has to learn that the only way to move from unhappiness to happiness, peacelessness to peace, is remembering Baba. And how do you teach them? So this is the method, the 7-day course and the 21-day course, and then after that the Murli. This is the process. And Baba says, facilitate this process by contributing your bit, so that you can also, by remembering Baba, you can take your inheritance, and by cooperating with Baba in this task, you can create the world into heaven. Okay, so this is what Baba says. There are 3 things that Baba underlines today: remembrance, purity, and cooperation. Om Shanti. Today is Satguruvar, and these days Pitru Paksh is going on. So many souls have offered bhog in remembrance of their ancestors, because it is the time for Shraddh. And then there is one special child of Baba, very dear to Baba. He's opening a new business, starting a new business. So he has also sent his remembrances to Baba. And then there is one soul who has a birthday, both Lokik and Alokik today. And then there is another soul who has offered bhog for someone in the family who is not well. So these are the remembrances we will take today to Baba, and we'll all go to the subtle region and offer bhog to Baba with a lot of love. So just have patience for 2 minutes. I'll take you to the other room. Om Shanti.